Now, there is no doubt about it that by far one of the most anticipated Star Wars TV shows for 2023 is indeed the Ahsoka Tano TV series, because it's going to be very well rooted to the vision of George Lucas, as well as really telling more stories of the mythology of the franchise, right? The way of the Jedi, the Force, the Cosmic Force, and all those beloved elements of Star Wars is going to be happening next year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe that's really happening right now between Favreau, Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, and a lot of other creators, of course, is, there is a problem between Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy of a specific Star Wars TV show. We'll dive into that in just a second. We obviously already know that for the majority, everything is looking brighter and brighter. Everything else besides Skeleton Crew and Acolyte, Kathleen Kennedy has little to no creative power over. In fact, no creative power over anything beyond that point. So Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte are the only two shows that I think a lot of fans need to at least worry about a little bit, because The Acolyte, given that Favreau and Lucas are calling the shots on 5 episodes, it gives the show some hope. The Skeleton Crew series, however, I also remain skeptical on that because of, number one, how fast they began shooting and how fast they started and they ended filming, basically. They just wrapped on September 3rd, I think it was, and that basically was just shy of 3 months of filming from the middle to end of June until early September. Very fast. It must be like a 5 to 6 episode TV show. Now, moving on to all of this, alright? With creator Jon Favreau preparing to make multiple big announcements at Celebration next year, he is also getting ready to begin work on The Mandalorian Season 4 that will hold many revelations for the audience. Now, it's described, however, that behind the scenes there is a lot of drama happening between both Favreau and Lucas over a specific project. Now, it's described that Favreau has been very angry with Kathleen Kennedy behind the scenes for a big reason right now going on with the Skeleton Crew show. Now, it's described that Kathleen Kennedy is moving ahead with planning additional filming to be done for the Skeleton Crew series that is set to bring in Djarin, portrayed by Pedro Pascal. Kennedy is preparing to alter the character and change him quite drastically in her show that will change many of the core qualities of the character, including parts of his backstory as well. This is something that Favreau does not approve of, and there is little to nothing that he can do since Kennedy has full creative power over the Skeleton Crew show, and there were no setbacks while filming. Additional filming for the series is set to begin sometime by this November for some of the scenes that will involve Djarin to pop into the show to change the character. I want to pause here quick for a second. I think that this goes on to show you another great example of living proof that Kathleen Kennedy just does not care about what Favreau is really trying to build with these core characters. Now, I will admit, I love the character of Djarin. I think that there's something very unique about him. He is very much, maybe not on the same level as Boba Fett, but there's something about Djarin that's just very unique and original, and it just works. It just works in the Star Wars franchise. It does. And to have Kathleen Kennedy taking this character and throwing him into Skeleton Crew to change his backstory and to change his overall qualities really makes me wonder, why is she really doing that? Is this some kind of rebellious thing against Jon Favreau? I don't know. It really comes off like that, but who knows? There might be more to the story than we know. But she is dragging in Djarin into Skeleton Crew because she found the opportunity. Let's not forget that Skeleton Crew is also another Mandoverse-era Star Wars project. Initially, a lot of people out there thought it was High Republic. It's not. It is based after the events of Return of the Jedi. So they're going to be throwing in Djarin. We're not quite sure specifically at one point in time this show takes place. You know, it could take place a year after Return of the Jedi. It could take place 4 years. We're not quite sure just yet. but it is a post-episode 6 timeline. Now, the thing about this that Favreau is having a lot of issues with, and how he's very angry over the fact that Kennedy is moving forward with this, is that he tried to intervene and change her mind, and she believes that this is the right way to go, to introduce the character to new fans around the world, and to kind of take away that burden of George Lucas. Now, here's the problem, is that what's really great about djarin is that it was Lucas who actually told Favreau what kind of qualities the character should have, and that there should be a redemption quality to the character that would have been done in Season 1, and it was. That's what George Lucas pretty much, told Favreau to do. To have this character that's doing his bounty hunting business, and he's in a specific point in his life, and then Grogu comes into the picture and adds that redeeming quality. You see this shift in the character. That was all George Lucas, and how he actually told Favreau to do that. Basically now Kathleen Kennedy wants to reverse some of the core qualities. So what does this really mean? We're not quite sure just yet. It could range anywhere from changing his appearance to changing his overall personality, or like I said, she is going to be messing around with his backstory too, and that does worry me quite a bit as a fan. Now, going into the next thing here, Favreau is said to be very well aware of the specifics of what changes are coming, and is said to have taken this up with the Disney executives. And though, unfortunately, this cannot, of course, and they cannot intervene, as the show's production has been going very smooth, unlike with The Acolyte. Now, Favreau is actively trying to put a stop to all of this. However, Kennedy believes this is a great way to detach the character from George Lucas's vision and to present him to new upcoming fans that know nothing about the franchise. This is also causing other problems for Pedro, as he actually likes Kathleen Kennedy's idea for the character and is causing a bit of a rift between creators and actors for the Skeleton Crew series. Now, if we backtrack a little bit here, we already know that Skeleton Crew, it's going to be getting additional filming in November. We'll fill you guys in exactly what that entails once they begin filming all of the additional stuff by the middle to late November. And that's a big deal because that kind of gives you an idea of when the show is intended to release. It's looking more and more likely to be summer of next year. July, maybe August is looking very likely, based on the additional filming plan. So, this is the latest problem between Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy. At no surprise, there's always something that arises over at Lucasfilm, and thankfully that's all gonna eventually come to an end, because these are the two Star Wars shows that Kathleen Kennedy has a lot of control over. There was a third one that she was actually trying to get back on board and trying to convince the executives to bring back, and that's also another thing up in the air, because you got some executives that support Kennedy and other executives that do not, so that's kind of still in negotiations. But anything beyond all of that, everything is looking brighter and brighter by Jon and George, as well as Dave Filoni, and what they are currently crafting. So I'm very hopeful for the future. I think a lot of great things are coming beginning in 23 and 24. That's really going to be the true golden age of Star Wars and just the beginning of it all. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.